TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Hey, it's Kim Komando today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to Komando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I always like to start with something interesting, and I ran across a list this past week. It wasn't on BuzzFeed, but it was on something like that, where they talked about how all these celebrities are the worst to their personal assistants. And they had like the Kardashians on there and Meghan and Harry and all everybody else on the list. But because Elon Musk is in the news so much, I actually was like, wonder what he did to his assistant. So I'm going to read you what they said, and then we can talk about it. When Elon Musk's personal assistant, Mary Beth Brown, asked for a raise in 2014, Elon Musk told Mary Beth Brown to take 2 weeks off. He said, this way, I could see how valuable you really are. Well, after the 2 weeks, Mary Beth Brown came back to work, and Elon Musk said, you know, I don't need you. And he fired her. And then this list says Elon Musk fired his assistant for asking for a raise. Okay, Elon Musk did not fire his assistant for asking for a raise. He fired her because she was gone for 2 weeks and he realized he didn't even need her. Wow. I'm going to tell you, personal assistants, that's a tough thing. I don't have a personal assistant. I do pretty much everything myself. Amber helps me out. Yes, she does, of course. But speaking of personal assistants, Mother Teresa, amazing woman. Okay. She had an incredible personal assistant. This woman was truly second to none. Get it? Second to none. And oh my gosh, I know. If you have to explain it, really wasn't that funny. But on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's America's largest show about all things digital. That's right. You can find us as a show and a podcast, but you can find us on over 425 top stations. We're streaming in your favorite radio app, of course. Just search for my last name, Komando. And if you're so inclined, you can actually watch us do the show, get the podcast commercial free. And of course, there's chats and there's Q&A forums, and you can blog and all kinds of things like that over at Komando.com, which, by the way, we're not going to track you or your data when you're doing all that like they do on those other places like Facebook. And again, that's over at GetKim.com. Once again, GetKim.com. And a special thank you goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All right, this is part of the show where I like to talk about what's happening in your lives. So it's not necessarily tech news or the numbers, but these are things that will impact you right now. Because every single day, I am pulling content so that this way you guys and gals are totally up to date. Now, if you're under holiday stress, I want you to take a deep breath and relax. And not only can I help you, but your government. That's right. The National Allowance on Mental Illness says that the holidays are not the most wonderful time of year, with all the holiday gifts to buy, inflation, layoffs, in-laws, decorations, parties, and a possible nuclear war with Russia. It's just enough to drive us all to drink. So using your tax dollars, the nation's top doctor has partnered with a meditation app called Calm to calm us all down. Spending our money, our tax money on this is nothing new. In June, Congress voted to give the makers of the Calm app almost $100,000 to help congressional staff deal with the trauma of the January 6th Capitol riots. And that worked out so well that our Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, has announced a brand new initiative, 5 YouTube videos produced by Calm to help us chill out and relax with a nice gender and religious neutral winter holiday vibe. God bless America. Number 2, it's a Google miracle. More ads are coming by the end of this year. Starting on December 23rd, a new type of ad called side rails will start showing up on websites. That's the bad news. The good news is you may not have to put up with the ads because these side rails are only going to be shown on widescreen devices, i.e. desktops. Now, there are already ads that show up on the side of web pages called side rails, but the difference is that these Google ads are dynamic. So as you scroll up and down, this ad's going to go up and down with you. Yes. I'm so tired of getting targeted ads. I just got one for funeral services, and that's the last thing that I need. Thank you. Netflix is expanding into their video games. What? That's right. Netflix is trying to make you stay subscribed. So they say, hey, what's better than just giving them more addictive video games? Thank you, Netflix. So now joining us is on Netflix. They have Reigns, Three Kingdoms, Cats and Soup. Guess what that video game's about? You're so smart. Cats and Soup, right? No ads, no in-app purchases, so it's better than on your phone. But what's interesting, too, is what's going on with that narcissistic B-grade actress, Meghan Markle, and the man formerly known as Prince Harry. Well, that docuseries trailer from Netflix dropped this past week, and you have to go look at the comments. Oh my gosh, here are some of the good ones. Is Harry talking about protecting his family from the press and public scrutiny in a tell-all documentary? Yeah, he is. He is. Or how about this one? You can't go on Oprah and make a Netflix documentary about yourselves and then complain about privacy. I'll tell you, the comments are just brutal, brutal, brutal. Oh, I like the one. There's Meghan all crying. I married a prince and I'm living in a castle and I'm not happy. Behind her is about a $2,000 Hermes blanket, and somebody was able to capture her crying in this perfect lighting. Amazing. Number 4, now the sweet sounds of Alexa will lull your kids to sleep. It's a bedtime struggle. Parents, you know that. Got to get the kids into bed, put all the devices away, get the games because they got to get up early. Now, what if there's a better way? And Amazon says, we are here to help. It's called Amazon's Create with Alexa. It uses AI to compose an animated story with your kid on an Amazon Echo Show. I actually checked it out, and it's pretty darn cool. It is. To get started, you just say that A word, and then you make a story, and then it does all its magic. The kids can work with the narrative, the sounds, and the landscapes, and they can have all kinds of themes like Enchanted Forest and characters and good stuff like that. You know, and hopefully the algorithm will help tuck these little kiddos right into bed before Santa comes. Because you know what the deal is. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Snore and you sleep alone. And finally this, coming in at number 5. Did you get a text from the IRS saying that you owe them money? Where's your refund? As of November 18th, here's a little fun fact. The IRS has 3.4 million unprocessed tax returns. Who else knows this? Scammers. IRS impersonators are switching up their game. So instead of just saying, an unknown tax debt, they say, hey, we want to give you a refund. We are from the IRS. We are here to help you. Just click this link and you're going to have to give us all this information. No. Just remember, the IRS is not going to call, email, or text you for the first time about this information. It's always going to come by U.S. snail mail. Now, if you do click, you just opened yourself to identity theft and malware. So again, just don't click any links coming from the IRS, which, you know, do you ever wonder why the IRS calls that the form the 1040? You ever wonder why? Well, because for every $50 that you earn, you get $10 and the IRS gets $40. That's how that works. All right, coming up in just a few moments, some smart ways to use a tracker like a Tile or AirTag. And then also we have the best gifts for that person on your list who doesn't need or want anything. We have your great phone calls and you have me, Kim Komando.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Hey, coming up in just a few moments, some innovative ways to use an AirTag or a Tile tracker. And how about we get this party started already with Charlotte in Austin, Texas. Hello there, Charlotte.
Well, hi, Kim. How are you today?
I'm terrific. Thanks for your call today.
You betcha.
So what's going on?
So I have a question. I was looking at wearables at a watch for myself and then very specifically for my 10-year-old granddaughter. But I read a
nice.
little bit about radio frequency radiation and wearables, and so I was concerned about safety and thought maybe you could help.
So, what did you read about online? Because there's a lot of misinformation about radiation online. There is.
Well, and that's exactly what it was. There's a lot of articles stating, oh, no, this isn't good, mostly with animal studies, and then other human studies say not to worry, everything's just fine. So it's just so confusing to try and make a decision, especially for a child, who's still
It is.
developing, and about something
Sure.
that you're wearing on your body 24, or they want you to wear 24/7 anyway.
Right. Well, let's
And so I
just
just
back up
didn't
just a
know.
second. Let's talk about the Apple Watch and why there could be some concern. Because let's think about the Apple Watch. It connects via Wi-Fi, right? There's Bluetooth. If we're going to put a cellular connection in that watch, we now have all of that just sitting on our wrist. And as you mentioned, rightly so, 24/7. So what the studies have found that with an Apple Watch, and they have this study on their website or at apple.com, in case you want to Google it, it's on apple.com. But what they found is that the radiation level from the watch is less than 1/100th of the dose that has been shown to have any biological effects. And it gets into SAR and, whether it's used against the head or on the wrist. And so I wouldn't worry about it on your wrist or your granddaughter's wrist. What I wouldn't want either one of you to do, however, is for you to wear the Apple Watch to bed. You know how some people sleep with I do. You sleep with like your wrist against your head sometimes?
Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay. I think that's a bad idea because the transmission levels between the watch and the head, it's a little bit stronger. And even Apple admits this on their site. So, keeping the watch on your wrist and just wearing it during the day. And I know that a lot of people like to wear it to go to sleep, and that would be okay. But I necessarily wouldn't do it again if I'm going to be sleeping with my wrist against my head. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, and it's so great to hear because I bought the watch and then I read all this stuff and I sent it back, but now I can buy it back again.
Yay, Charlotte.
Well, there's just so
and
much great technology.
yeah, and the Apple Watch is phenomenal. Think about this. I mean, not only can you do your own ECG and it counts your steps and your symmetry and everything else under the sun, and it can even call 911 if you happen to fall. And there's been so many cases of lives that have been saved by wearing an Apple Watch. And I'll tell you another side benefit to an Apple Watch that you may not have thought of is that I'll tell you, if I had a kid in school today, my son Ian was, say, between 6 and 17 or 18. And, the school shootings are a nightmare. They're so incredibly frightening. But if I had a kid, you've heard me talk about this before, I'd give them an Apple Watch and they'd wear long sleeve shirts to school every day, even in the hot times. Because this way, in case there was a situation, they can always, hit the side of the watch to call 911 and not have anybody know that even occurred. Charlotte, thank you for your call. I appreciate you getting through. Hey, if you're ever wondering about radiation, all the manufacturers have to list it on their website. It's called SAR, Specific Absorption Rate. So go to your phone manufacturer site, search for that phrase. Don't do it on the web, though. Do it at the manufacturer site because there's just too many uneducated kooks along the way. Let's see. Nancy, you're up next. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Fantastic. So what's on your mind today, Nancy?
Well, I belong to a women's club in our rural community, and I have a problem with routing because we deliver poinsettias from the community giving tree every year at Christmas time, and we have anywhere between 50 and 60 or 80 addresses sometimes, and I've been using MapQuest and trying to make 6 or 8 routes equal, and it's a horrendous process, and it prints me a lot of paper. And I went online and I looked at them, like route planners, UPS uses them and stuff. So I said, well, what about this? And then there's so many of them. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this. And then I heard you on the radio and I thought, oh, well, I'll send you an email. So I did.
Well, here you are. And
Yeah.
there are better ways for you to spend your time, Nancy. There are. And
Yeah,
especially,
there has to be.
especially when you start printing out, you're not just talking about paper, you're talking about ink. Boy, doesn't that get
Yes,
expensive over time?
yes,
Ridiculous.
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so the good news is that both Google Maps and Apple Maps will allow you to do route planning right now. And so you can add stops along the way. But what
Oh,
it sounds like is that you actually need something that's made for the job. And that is a program, as you said, what FedEx, UPS, Amazon, all these other companies use. Why can't I use that too?
yeah,
Which is just fantastic. How nice of you to get all these poinsettias and then deliver them with a volunteer group. And it's really fabulous. I
yeah,
love to hear these stories, especially this time of year. So
yeah. No, our
there's a
community is very giving. Our giving tree is very giving. So,
Well, we love that. We love that. You know
yeah,
what? More communities should have these throughout the country, and I think we'd all be better off for it. But
yes.
we digress. Um, there's a website called Get Circuit,
Get
getcircuit.com.
circuit.
hmm And you can use it for free if there's up to 10 spots, 10 stops rather. And then for $20 a month is that you can get up to 500 stops. So take a look at it, but it's going to do exactly what you need to do. Plug in some places where you need to deliver the poinsettias, and then it will determine the right routes. And then you can start handing off this to various people. Plus, you get some other benefits as a side deal. Is you get real-time driver tracking, you get proof of delivery, which is nice as well, and it's going to make your life easier, and it's going to not make you pull your hair out and waste paper and ink. And as a side benefit, Nancy, you know what else? You know what else you're going to get?
No.
It's gonna make you look 20 years younger. Yes.
I'm already in my 70s. I could use that. Anyway, but
I lied about the last part. Okay, it's not going to make you look 20 years younger, but it's going to simplify your life. And once again, that website is getcircuit.com. And Nancy, thank you for your call. Hey, as I mentioned, if you're not doing all of these different deliveries, you can always use Apple Maps or Google Maps because they allow you to add stops along the way too. All right, here's the deal. You got different ways that you can use a tracker, especially around this holiday season. Make sure that you put one into your luggage. So this way you always know where that bag is. And put one inside your car, your motorcycle, so this way that you always know where you parked it. And also, you can also attach a tile tracker to your gun case where you keep your rifle, your shotgun, or your pistol. So some good ideas to use that. Stay right where you are. We have more of the show, more of your phone calls coming up you don't want to miss. And it is time for Brand New or Not True. It's America's national radio game show sensation and also a podcast sensation where you can play along at home and guess, is that brand new or is that not true? And I dreamt up this game show years ago for here on the Kim Komando Show because after all, every single day I just get a slew of press releases. I hear about new products and I would sit there and go, gosh, sorry, I wouldn't want to have my money wrapped up in that. So in playing Brand New or Not True, I present you, the home listener, and a very special guest contestant, 3 products in the tech world. Now, 2 are completely fake. I make them up. And 1 is completely true. And it's up to you to decide which is the real product. And if our special guest contestant wins, oh my gosh, they get the much coveted official Kim Komando Show fanny pack at $24.99 value. All right, and joining us for Brand New or Not True this week is Kenny from Roanoke, Virginia. Hi there, Kenny.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So you ready to play along?
I'm ready. This is exciting.
All right, so remember, 2 products are fake and 1 is absolutely true. So we're going to start with product number 1. You know, parents today, Kenny, they have a constant struggle with all of their kids. Too much screen time, right? Not enough time outside, getting fresh air and exercising. But now this battle is gone thanks to technology. Now you have to follow me here. You know that kids love to play on swing sets. It's fun. But what if there was a way to combine the love of swing sets with the latest technology and video games? Well, new to the market is a special tablet holder for a swing. You just fire up one of the games on your tablet or iPad and tell the kids to get swinging for points. Now, the games are unique. One of the games is called Tarzan, swinging through the jungle. Every time the kid swings high, Tarzan grabs a brand new branch. Then there's also Spider-Man. Well, it's not the Spider-Man, but he's going to and from New York City buildings, because he's trying to get to the other slide. That's right. The swing holder retails for $19.99, plus the cost of the games, and they're about $5 each. Product number 2, we have a lot of smart devices in our homes, don't we, Kenny? Just a slew of them. And a lot of them will tell us when things are happening around us. So maybe it's if someone breaks into the house, someone's at the front door, the baby's crying. But they all rely on a different manufacturer and a different app. Well, now we have one smart device that only does one thing, Kenny. It sits on a table and it listens. It's great for the hearing impaired as well as when you're not home. So if you put it in, say, for example, in your living room, it's going to listen for doorbells, knocking, mail slots, windows smashing. If you put it in the kitchen, it's going to listen for appliances that are beeping, water running, timers, alarms. If you put it in the nursery, it's going to be for crying, coughing, baby gates opening and closing. And it even does listen when the dog has to go out to do his business. So if the dog scratches or does something, it'll say, oh, I think the dog has to go potty. You know, the other day I was listening to music and it suddenly stopped. Yes, it was Spotify. Like spotty Wi-Fi, Kenny. Did you get that? All right,
I got it.
All right. If you have to explain the joke, it's just not that good of a joke, even though I crack myself up all the time. The Smart Ears retails for $199. And finally, product number 3. We've all heard about those Tesla drivers that are asleep at the wheel while the Tesla happily speeds down the road on autopilot. You know, sad news, true story, cars have crashed, people have died. Now, a new startup is about to market a device that at the push of a button on an app on your phone, it'll set off all the alarms in the car that you are pointing your phone towards. So that includes the sleeping driver's horn, engine warning lights, a seatbelt alarm. It'll adjust the radio, do anything to wake that driver up behind that self-driving car. Now, police departments across the country, they're just thrilled because they don't really know what to do when they see a guy sleeping behind a car going down the road. Now, the NTSB, they're also really pleased about this. They actually said, finally, we have figured out a way why the computerized self-driving cars keep crashing. They didn't install the driver. Womp womp. Price to be determined. Okay, so Kenny, 3 products, right? One is the real product. So is it the holder for the swing set? So that this way the kids can play games while they're actually outside. Product number 2 is a smart ears that will always listen. Or is it product number 3, wake me up? Wake that person up, rather, who's driving that car. Well, not driving that car, sleeping behind the wheel. So which product is real, Kenny?
Let me think here just a second. On the first one, I'm kind of on the fence with it because of the holding situation. If the swing is swinging, you sure don't want to take the chance of dropping that tablet or that iPhone. You know what, Kim? I'm going to go with number 2 with the ears. That just seems to be a little bit more useful from the other 2 items that you spoke about. So yeah, let's go with number 2, the ears.
All right. Kenny this is for a big prize. It's the official Kim Komando Show fanny pack. So let's ask our judges, which product is real?
Say hello
You got
to
it, Kenny.
Ears, the first
That's
multi-purpose
fantastic.
monitor that alerts you to any sound at home, no matter where
That's
you
right. The smart
From a
ears.
breaking
Listen,
window
I think that's a
to a
really
crying
phenomenal
baby.
product.
Ears packs
You know,
that can
because if you have somebody who is hearing impaired, now they can get an alert on their phone when various things happen around the house, which is just.
Yeah,
I love it when
it-
technology.
it-
I was going to say I love it when technology does something really smart, and this is just smart.
It is, and that's why I went with it. And then now I'm super excited because I get that fanny pack.
I know. We joke about the fanny pack, but I have to tell you, Kenny, I get all these people say, how can I buy the official Kim Komando Show fanny pack? I'm like, you can only get it if you play Brand New or Not True. All right. So I know, my man, you have some questions for me. How can I help you out?
I do, Kim. I have a treadmill. It's a very trendy type of treadmill. It cost me a lot of money. I'm subscribed to the program that comes over, so you have coaches that coach you. They control the treadmill itself, the speed and the up and down to it.
Sure.
I wanted. It comes with a small 10-inch tablet embedded into the faceboard of it. And what I've actually opened it up and looked inside to see if there's any way that we can split that signal so I can make an HDMI cable out to a large TV. Help me, help me.
Oh, who makes this?
NordiTrack.
Oh, all right. So, wow. Okay. You know, I did see something on YouTube that somebody did figure out how to cast to a second screen. Let me send you a link to that video because it kind of walks you through step by step on how that magic happens. But
Okay.
generally, it's pretty difficult. Well, because these tech manufacturers and the exercise machine companies, they want to keep you close to their environment, right? Because this
Of
way you
course.
continue to pay that $40 or $50 monthly fee. So is your goal just so you have a bigger screen?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. Just to have a larger screen, but the tablet has to be running all the time because it does control the treadmill itself.
Now, did you say HDMI? Is there a micro HDMI that you have
Yes.
on that machine? Okay. Well,
I'm so sorry.
no, go ahead. Tell me about the micro
Uh,
HDMI.
Yeah, it has like I say, it has a small micro HDMI plug that's into the side of the tablet. There are no ports coming out of the tablet. So my thought was can we take that HDMI mini cable and split that signal and have one go to the tablet so it still remains operating the treadmill itself, and the other one to go elsewhere to another TV.
It's not a bad idea. You can find an HDMI splitter on Amazon, and you can try it. But you might need to do first get a micro T. You're going to have a lot of cables, Kenny. You're going to have a lot of cables going through this. It's like, okay. Just make sure when the treadmill's going, you don't trip all over them, all right? Just making
Yeah.
sure. That's the last thing we need. He just wanted to lose 5 pounds. That's it. That's all he was trying to do. And he was such a nice man. He was, Kenny. He was so great. Let me send.
I
Let me
agree with you.
let me shoot you over some links and take a look at them. You know this configuration better than me because you're the one that's sitting there looking at it, and I've never cracked open. I won't make a confession. I've never cracked open a Nordic Track treadmill in my entire life, but it's something maybe you might want to do. You might want to do at some point. But we're going to give you a link to a micro to a standard HDMI converter, an HDMI splitter, and then as well as a link to a video over on YouTube that people kind of show you how to maybe cast your NordiTrack over to that bigger screen. Kenny, let me know how this works out for you. I'd love to hear back. And again, congrats on the big win here on the Kim Komando Show. What a great call. Hey, let's go ahead and do our digital life hack tip of the week. And this week's brought to you by Epson. All right, there's always that person on your list. They don't need anything. So what can you get them? I am here to the rescue. And we have this list over on the website too, in case you miss it. We have the HP Sprocket Studio Plus Wi-Fi printer. That's somebody if they might want to print their photos right off their phone. It makes it a lot easier. Or how about the Ninja Dual Brew Pro coffee maker, right? If they're a coffee person, they get the K-cup and they get the whole pot. Yes, sweet. Neck and back massager. Normally that was $70 on sale right now for $40. How about a Y&M weighted blanket? Comes in all kinds of colors and designs. And then finally, this is something I actually use a lot, an ultrasonic jewelry cleaner. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but it's really something that if the person has everything, they probably will use it a lot. So you can find this whole list over at Komando.com. We got all kinds of holiday gift guides from under $100, under $50. Oh, and if Oprah can have her own list, so can I. We have Kim's list of all kinds of tech and not so tech, some really unique gifts that I think you're going to love. So wherever you are, just go to Komando.com, Komando.com, on your desktop, laptop, or your mobile. And then there's a big old button that says shopping, and that's where you can find all of these lists. All right, still to come, you have the browser that came on your phone, but is it the best browser that you should be using? That answer still to come, and we have more of your phone calls here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you like some short tips, make sure that you get our Daily Tech Update podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, just 60 seconds a day. That's all it is. And you are going to be like astounded by these fun facts that you're going to learn about the news and what's going on in the tech industry. and some tips and tricks along the way. So again, just search for Komando with a K wherever you get your podcasts. Paul in Wilmington, Delaware. Hello there, Paul.
Well, hi, Kim. This is great. I really enjoy your show, and thanks for taking my call today.
You betcha. So what's going on?
Well, I have a Samsung phone, and in the last 6 months, my data usage has shot up from about 2 to 3 gigs per month to like the high teens. And
Oof.
yeah, and it's really crazy, and it's Chrome and Google Play Store that are taking up about 4 gigs each, and Chrome is not even my browser. And then I have YouTube taking up another 2 or 3. So all the Google products seem to be the culprits.
Well, have you so you've gone into your app usage, and that's where you determined where this was going on?
Yeah. Now this is Wi-Fi usage, by the way. So but it's just something that I want to understand what the heck's happening.
Okay. So it's Wi-Fi, and it's not. We're not talking about your data usage on your carrier.
Yeah, that's right. It's not mobile data.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the easiest way for you to figure out which apps, which you did, you figured out that it was YouTube and it was Google Play or Chrome or whatever it may be. All right.
Yeah,
So here's the deal: here's what we got is that you have apps that are being updated, and probably what's happening because of the Google Play is that you're getting a whole slew of updates for Google Play products, which could be Chrome and it could be YouTube. So what you can do is you can turn off those auto updates, which is never the best idea in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so you can also turn it off from updating when it's on data, but it sounds like it's happening on Wi-Fi. So it's not necessarily hurting your data packet. It's not costing you any money because you're on Wi-Fi. So you're not getting any. If you have unlimited data, of course, you don't need to worry about that. So it's just the Google Play Store that's updating in the background. I wouldn't worry about any type of hacker or malware or keyloggers or anything like that happening. Again, it's all good. It's all happening. And you always want to make sure that you get those security updates. And Paul, thank you for your call. And I always like to pass along fun facts. And so here's something that you can use when you're out with people around Christmas parties and gatherings and things like that. People just talk about like tablets and how important they've become, iPads and Samsungs and the whole slew and Amazons. So you can always ask them, say, who was the first man in history to download data from the cloud on a tablet? Okay, this is it. This is a question. And people are going to look at you. They're going to be so impressed. Just say, who was the first man in history to download the data from the cloud to his tablet? Then we're like, no, who was it? And then you can look at him and go, Moses. Yes. All right. Hey, are you using the web browser that came pre-installed on your smartphone? Totally time for a change, folks. You can use the web faster, protect your privacy. And we're going to start with Mozilla's Firefox. Now, the smartphone version, lightning fast, lets you browse the web privately, blocks third-party cookies by default. Now, here's the other deal. Is that if you use Firefox on your PC or laptop, it's just a natural to put Firefox on your phone because everything's just going to sync up nicely. Then there's the underdog, Ecosia. It has a slew of privacy and security features, but they spend any money that they make on planting trees, and they say so far they planted over 130 million trees. And then finally, there's the Brave browser and Google's Chrome browser. They both have incognito mode, bookmarks, and tons of security features. Brave will block ads on some web pages. So I want you to be a good internet citizen and help these websites still make money by whitelisting certain sites. And in case you ever missed any of this, don't forget, you can always learn more at Komando.com and get links to all of these products and tips that I talk about. Just go to Komando.com and use the search box. And we're brought to you worldwide here on the Westar Multimedia Network.